I don't ever feel like I overreact.
Liar! No!
I see you're sucking your sister's tit. Are you sharing the milk or what?
Rayne is trying to beat the allegations that she had nothing to do with her past relationships falling apart. This episode proved that maybe she had a lot to do with them. Vanja really traveled all the way to Croatia just to get put on the friend zone. Hello guys, and welcome to Cheese Corner. My name is Karen, and today we're gonna be talking about 90 Day Fiancé before the 90 days. Let's get started. First off, let's start with Niles and Matilda. After the news that Matilda received, they are getting ready to go to Kumasi so they can break the news to her family. And while they're sitting down, Matilda is sharing that,
we were not able to get married on this trip. I was like, huh?
From last time, she was incredibly upset about the news and Niles masking, and Matilda says that she understands now that what he did and the way that he went about it is because he was masking and not because he was lying to her. So she understands it a little better.
So I'm worried they will not accept him to be my husband.
Niles does ask her if they're going to allow him to do the knocking ceremony, because traditionally you're supposed to do the knocking ceremony and right after that you get married. So he is wondering, are they going to be okay with the fact that we are not going to be married right away?
They will definitely ask that what happened.
Matilda also tells him, something that you have to keep in mind is that right off the bat, they're going to think that I did something wrong, that I had something to do with it. So you have to have answers already for those questions. This conversation was a lot of prep for Niles. Like, this is what you're gonna say. This is how you're gonna go about it. And I really appreciate the fact that Matilda was doing this, because we already know that Niles, under pressure, feels extremely overwhelmed and might not be able to answer the questions that her family has for him.
When I get to Kumasi, allow me to retain my courage.
Niles, right before they leave to Kumasi, does a prayer with Matilda to, for God to give him strength because he's going to need it. And he says that he hopes that God is going to perform another miracle, which I think he refers to the fact that, he performed a miracle with Matilda not being mad at him. So he hopes the same thing is going to happen. This is actually going to be the first time that Matilda gets to go on a plane, and she is nervous.
My heart is doing boom, boom, boom.
The first time I got on a plane, it was very nerve-wracking. But after that, like Niles says, it kind of just feels like a car ride. And Matilda also says that, next time that she gets on a plane,
I'm going to live with my baby in the United States of America.
On a plane here in her hometown is the fact that, it's expensive. She doesn't have the money for that. They arrive at the hotel and they explain that one of the main reasons they're staying here is because a lot of Matilda's extended family live in her home in Offenso. So it's a lot of stimulation for Niles. And he is actually very grateful that they're able to stay here at the hotel, because he already knows all the pressure that is going to come tomorrow morning once they go to her house.
And there's a very real chance that I've already blown it.
It is the next day, and Matilda is telling Niles that he needs to freshen up, go get a haircut, because this is not a way to meet my family. And I mean, he's already nervous. So of course he wants to make sure that he presents himself at school as a cucumber, so there's no stress behind anything.
She's so excited that she told everyone that we were getting married. On this when I was on this trip. And
Niles, let's not go back to doing what we were doing in the past episodes. No. She wasn't so excited that she decided to tell her family you guys were getting married during this trip. You made her believe that you guys were getting married this trip. Okay, we already got past that, but let's not continue to add on to situations like that. Let's just be honest and truthful. Matilda already told you that she's okay with you being as forward as possible.
I'm just wondering how I'm going to explain to them that even though I promised to marry her, it won't happen on this trip.
The barber tells him that when he goes to the house, anything that comes out of his mouth needs to be truthful. So if you're gonna say it, you must mean it, because if you don't,
even the family can curse you.
What now?
The moment the barber told Niles that there's a possibility he might get cursed, he was like, What are you talking about? Of course, he doesn't want to come out of here being cursed. If anything, he wants to come out of here with a blessing in his hands that Matilda's family says yes to their wedding.
I'm not trying to find out how real these curses actually are.
I would personally be scared to get cursed. I don't mess around with traditions. I don't mess around with cultures. If you tell me that I must go in there and be truthful, that's what I'm going to do.
I'm going to be careful with my promises. I'm going to carefully word what I say.
One thing that does worry me is if Niles becomes so calculated with the words that are coming out of his mouth that it turns into another situation of masking where he's just like stuck in this place where he said things that he didn't mean. Matilda and Niles are on their way to her home and she's reminding him that her mom is cooking something for them and that this time he cannot say that he's getting food poisoning, that he can just say, you know, I got tummy problems.
My parents will be asking now, so when are you coming to do the knocking? I want to know everything.
Okay, so I want to choose my words very, very carefully.
And Niles is already telling Matilda what he's going to say to her family. Matilda is asking him, why are you doing the knock on the door ceremony? What is happening? Why are you here? And Niles starts telling her that he is not ready to get married, that the reason for this trip.
See if we could be together. See if we could live together. We can interact with each other well.
But then he says that he never, ever told Matilda that they were going to get married during this trip and that he never led her onto believing that they were going to get married during this trip.
I think I can tell your mom that you never discussed that with me, nor did I tell you to tell everybody we were getting married.
I don't want you to say that. I don't want you to lie again.
Now, we already went over that last episode, and I'm gonna say it again. Niles had many opportunities to tell Matilda, I'm not getting married to you during the trip, and he did not.
I don't know why he's saying that. He never told my mom that he planned to get married to me on this trip.
Niles, of course, because he's trying to overcompensate and he's trying to, you know, thread his words carefully, make sure that what he says, he actually means it. He is over preparing for this entire conversation. I do feel like, you know, there has to be a lot of things that they talk about and he has to make it clear, but we're seeing a lot of over preparation and I'm worried that that's going to affect Niles and Matilda's relationship. Of course, Matilda is worried that he's going to mask in front of her parents. And she does not want that.
The barber said that if I promised it and it didn't happen, you guys can curse me.
When Niles brings that up, Matilda was like, yes, we can. And we will.
Since my dad is not around anymore, my uncles have stepped into a father role of us.
They are going to be there judging Niles and making sure that whatever is coming out of Niles' mouth is truthful. She does say that if he says anything that is going to make them doubt Niles, they are not going to approve of this marriage. Once they arrive, Niles was greeted with a very warm welcome. Like, mom was happy, the sisters were happy, the uncles were happy. Everyone was actually excited to see him, and it felt really good, to the point that even Niles share on his confessional. He's nervous, but this makes him feel like he's at home. There's a sense of family. There's a sense of union, and he really enjoyed that. But it also made him think that
it makes me wish that my family had accompanied me to meet Matilda as well.
I believe it was Matilda's brother, the one that gets up and he's like, you know, can you explain to us, why are you here? What is your purpose? What are your reasonings? Tell us.
I wanted to see her for the first time, come here, meet her family, and just get to know her.
So he then translates to the entire family what his goals are. And the family welcomes him. They're happy. They're like, oh, you're welcome to our family. You know, we're glad that you're here. And then Matilda's brother brings up the fact that last time he spoke with Niles over phone, Niles promised to do the knock door ceremony and to marry Matilda. And after Niles hears that, he shuts down. He's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, what am I gonna do? And Matilda reminds him, you know, this is what you need to say, because they had already discussed it in the taxi. You need to tell them, I'm here to do the ceremony, but I cannot get married just yet. we're gonna get married on the next trip. When Matilda's brother translates all the things that Niles said to the uncles, and they hear that Niles wants to do the knocking ceremony and then come back on his next trip and do the wedding, they're like, we do not accept that. We do not accept that. That is not how our tradition works. The producers, asshats, they decided that when the uncles and everyone in the family was talking, they didn't put subtitles on because they wanted us to not know.
So I want the maximum up to Veah.
Yes.
Finally, we get Matilda's brother to tell us that the family wants Niles to do the knocking ceremony, and then from 2 to 3 months, they want them to get married. And Niles is like, what? No, I can't do that either.
I would have to
Just tell them that right now we're doing the knocking, but you're bringing them down very soon. They will hear from you.
Of course, Matilda feeds it to him again to tell them that, you know, there's no date in mind, that there's a lot of things that they're trying to figure out, but that it will happen. She reminds him, you know, remember the ring? You gave me a ring. Use that. Tell them that, you know, this was a promise to me that you will come back. Finally, Niles says it that, you know,
I'm trying to do that as soon as possible. However, I am going to need some time to do so.
The family accepts it. So I was extremely happy. I actually watched this entire segment just like sitting down. I wanted to just pay attention to it because I thought it was so sweet how the family took all of this in, had a conversation with Niles. Niles presented what, well, technically Matilda presented, and Niles just said the words, and they all understood, and everyone was happy. They were all okay with this. Right after this, Matilda's mom brings out the food that they're gonna share all together. They do a prayer, they eat. Niles thanks them again for accepting him into their family, for accepting him into their traditions and into their life.
You have no idea how overjoyed I am that you guys accepted me so much.
They're all happy. So I guess we won't have any more problems, right? I hope so. But let's move on to the next couple.
It was super confusing because one moment he's so excited, happy to see me, hugging me.
My friends also run up to me and hug me when it's been such a long time without seeing each other. You know, just because someone screams your name and hugs you does not mean that they are in love with you. But Vanja has already shared that, you know, her and Bozo have said I love you to each other, so that must be enough.
I just want to see how he acts today. I want to see how he is this fresh new day.
She's in for a rude awakening. Bozo goes over to pick up Vanja and he gives her some vegan pastries, which I thought was pretty thoughtful. In his confessional, he shares that he realized yesterday that
Vanja and I are slightly on different pages.
She wants a relationship, and even though he also wants a relationship, she wants it immediately. She wants it to happen like yesterday, and that's not what he wants.
And I'm just taking step by step.
Now, it does upset me a little bit that we have this couple right here that isn't really a couple. Vanja says that in the past they discussed marriage. She says that in the past they said I love you to each other. But I do wonder how much of that Vanja is creating in her head because she really wants a relationship, and how much of that is true.
And sometimes it feels a little bit too much for me.
When Bozo said that, it made me realize that Vanja is just too much for Bozo. I don't think Bozo enjoys how outgoing, how excited she is. She has an incredibly bubbly personality, and I don't think Bozo finds that personality attractive. So for today's date, Bozo is going to take Vanja around Old Town, Croatia, to show her the beautiful history and monuments that are there for her to see.
And here is the ancient palace.
And this is the worst tour guide I've seen in my life. He's like, you see that? That's a painting. You see that building right there? Yeah, that's Old Town. Do you see that right there? Oh yeah, that's this. What about the history? Where is the history of these monuments? For example, the palace is a great example of the Roman architecture, and he just glazed through it. And not only that, but also one of the scenes from what's it called? One of the scenes from Game of Thrones was actually filmed in this palace.
Dance on the beach.
We'll become best friends for the rest of your life. So as they're walking around, Vanja asked him, when is it going to be the time for me to meet your friends? And he says that tomorrow they're actually going to meet, but he doesn't know who's going to be there.
Would you bring your family one day here to enjoy?
Yes, I would.
And then she goes, well, since we're talking about family, what have you told your family about me? And I'm like, girl, if you knew that he waited till the day before you got here to tell his family.
Actually, my mom, she already married us.
When Bozo tells her this, she starts thinking like, oh my God, his family loves me. Like, he must have said so many beautiful things to his mom about me. And in reality, you don't know that his mom wants to get rid of him, and that's why she's so hopeful that you and him are going to get married. Vanja is like, what do you tell your mom about me? So excited about it. And Bozo tells her,
Said that you're blonde, beautiful eyes.
and your personality. Yeah, your personality. And Vanja is like, she's not listening. She's not hearing the words that are coming out of his mouth. Because anyone else that doesn't live in freaking La La Land would have heard this and been like, dude, this guy is only seeing my body. This guy is only seeing what I look like outside. He doesn't even understand my personality. I mean, he doesn't like your personality because you're too much for him.
So do I get to meet her?
Hopefully there will be
And of course, after Vanja hears this, she's like, oh my God, when do I get to meet your mom? When do I get to meet your aunt? This is so exciting. Also, this is the time where Bozo brings it up to her. Like,
When I talk about you, I give the biggest compliments.
but again, he doesn't say anything. He just says the highest compliments. What are those highest compliments, Bozo? Tell us. But she's eating it up. This girl is like, she's just eating everything up.
And honestly, I don't know, last night, if may I discuss that a little bit? Is that okay?
Highest compliments, but we're just friends. Like, I have a connection to you, but just as friends.
In a friend way.
And Vanja is telling Bozo, but we said I love you to each other. So what? People share their feelings and say I love you to each other many times, especially online.
But we already said I love you. We already we talked online for so long.
Do you really think that by Bozo saying I love you, that meant that you guys were in a relationship already? Did you guys ever discuss that? I don't think you did, because even last night you were like, well, I don't want to talk about it.
I put my life off for 3 weeks to come and spend time with you. And
Vanja then tells Bozo, you know, I don't think we're friends. I'm here to pursue a relationship. Is that like not what you want to do too?
In a, how do you say, romantic way? I don't feel it right now.
And I told you guys, that this girl had come all the way over here for this man.
And I just didn't feel the chemistry.
Doesn't even see her as wife potential. Doesn't even see a relationship with her.
But for some reason, I was a little bit overwhelmed with her.
And that not only that, but that if she ever thought that they were more than just friends and that they were actually boyfriend and girlfriend, he is sorry for that. But once he met her, you know, things changed.
Continue the day and so on.
I want a hug.
Okay.
I personally hope and wish that this does not work out, just because I think that Vanja can do so much better. I think that she really needs to start realizing that she can't just jump into conclusions and think that they're in a relationship just because she meets the guy that might check those boxes. It does not mean that that's the guy, especially when that guy is telling you, you know, like, I just kind of don't see it yet. And I don't know if they'll ever be able to recover from the situation. You know, we can build on love, but I heard this many times that you want to find yourself someone that is so obsessed with you that there's nothing else and no one else in this world that could ever compare to having you in their life. And Vanja really needs to go ahead and find that person, because Bozo is not the guy. Yeah, that's where we left off with those two. I would love to hear your thoughts on Vanja and Bozo and her being put on the friend zone. Let's move on to the next couple. Now let's go check in on Veah and Sunny. Veah is talking to us about how she didn't really grow up showing a lot of emotions. So last night when her and Sunny got into it, she wasn't really able to show, anything else other than anger and disappointment.
I feel like Sunny just threw our whole relationship, us, our love, our whole year of talking. I feel like Sunny just threw it all out.
So she's sitting on her bed sending Sunny messages and trying to, have a conversation with him. She's like, can we please meet? I have a lot of things to tell you. And Sunny's like, no, I never want to see you again. You played with me. You played with my feelings. You don't deserve me. At this point, Veah decides that she's going to go to a little market because she's tired of being stuck in the room. And she also asks Rory to meet her there.
I didn't want Sunny to come back and see Rory there. And then he's like, oh.
He doesn't want Sunny to come back to the hotel. And then, lo and behold, there's freaking Rory right there. And now you prove to him that you actually do have feelings for him, because why else would he be in the same hotel room? So silly little Veah decides that when she goes to the market, she's not going to take any cash.
And then you have Apple Pay? What is that?
And she calls Rory. Hey, Rory, come save me, please, because I need to pay for this and I forgot. Veah makes me think of like a little child sometimes that you just like have to guide them on everything. Like, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to bring. Don't forget your money. Don't forget your lunchbox. Rory gets there and saves her ass because she had no money with her. And they start walking around the beach. And this is when Rory asks her what happened. Tell me what happened.
I mean, he definitely has every right to feel betrayed, but you gotta find a way to get this kid back in your life.
And Rory reels her back in and reminds her that this was sudden. He had no idea. He needs to come to terms with the fact that he's here when, of course, he doesn't want the ex-boyfriend here. They even, almost had a child. So it's not just an ex-boyfriend. It's more than that. He's like, what you need to do is apologize. Tell him, I messed up and this is what I'm going to do moving forward to make it right. And you also need to have a conversation with him about your past and about what you've been through. And he continues to, say it. You need to talk to him about your past. He tells the producers,
if you really know all the ins and outs, it's not pretty, and they definitely need to address that.
And I'm just sitting there wondering, what's her past? What is this huge thing that makes you bring your ex with you? And you can tell that Veah gets very uncomfortable when Rory mentions that. The moment that he tells her, hey, you need to talk to him about what happened to you. You need to tell him why you did this. She gets so uncomfortable. She is like, the trauma comes back. We are back at the hotel and Veah is telling us that Sunny actually messaged her and told her that he wants to meet with her and, talk about what happened. He really wants an explanation as to why in the world, you would do what you did.
It's unacceptable. It's make me to believe that she's not trustworthy. So that is the big deal here.
Veah really hopes that after she explains everything to him, that they're going to be in a better place. Once he gets there, she gives him some roses to try to make up for, what happened. And Sunny is like, thank you for the roses, but let's go outside and let's talk about this.
You really hurt me yesterday. You truly hurt me deeply from my heart. Blame yourself why you do that.
Veah tells him that she was scared that she wasn't going to be able to get on the plane if Rory was not with her. She was scared that she was never going to be able to meet him if Rory was not with her the entire time. And that there were many times where she wanted to tell Sunny that, Rory was going to come. But the idea of Sunny not being okay with this.
Because I was scared for you to leave me. Like everyone else.
Because she has been abandoned many times in her past by her parents, by her friends, by family, that now thinking that someone else is going to leave because she's just too much. That's what kept her from not telling him. Sunny tells her, I get it. I understand that you have suffered from abandonment issues. I understand that you have a rough past. But so do I. Father abandoned me, my brothers, and my mom. I get it where you're coming from. But
I'll be honest with you. I don't understand your relationship with Rory.
And Veah explains to him that Rory is really really just a friend, that she has zero feelings for him.
I'm just close with him, and he's somebody I can trust and rely on. I know Rory's family, Rory knows my family.
She also shares with him that after her brother passed away, she was actually pregnant during that horrible moment in her life.
I want to tell you that right after my brother's death, me and Rory had a baby that passed away.
So when she shares that with Sunny, Sunny doesn't get frustrated, doesn't get angry. He's actually incredibly understanding. He tells her that he is sorry for her loss and that he understands how she feels.
I just want to say I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner. My therapist didn't want me to talk about my trauma because I was still working through it.
It does look like there's many things that Veah still hides within her of her trauma during her childhood and all the things that have happened to her.
But I'm really feel sorry for them. And it's make me to better to understand her a little bit more.
Hearing Sunny tell her, you know, it's fine, I understand, I get it, and I forgive you for what happened. I just want you to be honest with me. I just want you to open your heart and tell me these things, because what's missing between you and I is the communication. And Sunny does also share,
worried that Veah and Rory have a huge connected relationship. I feel like it is a huge competition for me.
He might not ever be able to create the connection that Rory and Veah have with one another. They have more time, they have more history, and that might never happen. So of course that sits in the back of his head, and he's a little bit jealous. Like, he's not denying that there is this type of jealousy in him of Rory and Veah being, you know, friends, but at the same time he understands that this is going to be the case.
I'm really sorry. Will you accept my apology?
Yes, I did.
Then Veah asked him if he can stay over so they can sleep together. It looks like in the next episode, we're trying to get someone's approval from Sunny's side of the family. And this person is telling Veah that she needs to convert. And we already know that Veah has a huge trauma when it comes to religion. And she does not want to convert. She wants nothing to do with religion. And this person is so pushy about it. And he's also so dismissive. Like,
he has to choose between me or you?
Yes, of course.
Well, I guess we'll wait till the next episode to come into conclusions and actually see what happens. Now it's time to cover Chicken Girl and Chidi. Rayne is extremely hopeful because she got a message today from Chidi telling her, you know, I want to meet at the beach.
Oh, I really want to go with you to the hotel. I want to start hanging out with you now.
Or maybe his sister finally said, hey, you can go see me. But she has no idea that Chidi is actually coming over here to dump her ass as she deserves. She gets out of the taxi. She says hi to Chidi. Everything's going well. I think Chidi came into this entire situation thinking that, you know, maybe there was a possibility, like a very slim possibility, to talk things over with Rayne and see if she understands what she did wrong and if there's any, you know, room for improvement on her part.
I cannot help but remain open-minded and hopeful that she's going to have an open dialogue about our relationship.
And Rayne starts asking him, why are we here? What do you want to talk about? And Chidi is so hesitant. But then he says it.
You know, I respect your choice for privacy, but what concerns me is how it all happened.
And instead of Rayne being like, you know what, yeah, I was a total bitch, she's like, well, I don't like your sister.
And you realize this is a new day.
It is a new day. And because it's a new day, you should probably apologize for being a shitty person, right? And she tries to guilt trip Chidi by telling him, hey, we don't have a lot of time. I'm running out of time. You know, maybe you should come to my room. Chidi takes the time to remind her.
You made mention of you not liking sisters.
So this is something that you had already in your head. You already knew that you were going to create some type of drama or exaggerate on something just so you could have some type of, I don't know, altercation, argument, whatever it is that you were planning to have with someone's sister.
Find a woman who will sit there at your sister's all day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
As far as I remember, you have been out of the house. I don't think that Victoria is keeping you captive. I don't think Victoria has you handcuffed to the freaking bed that you can't leave the house. So Chidi, while she's rambling and just going in circles, reaches over to her to try to tell her, you know, like, calm down.
Here, touch yourself. That's what you're used to.
let's not play dumb. What else do you mean by go touch yourself just like you already used to? Are you calling him a lonely man? Are you saying that there's nothing else that he can do?
Oh my God, look, a big ass green ship. But it's real nice because you can see like the tall buildings way out there on the right.
And then when you mention things about him not being able to see something or him seeing something, like, are you doing it on purpose? And the producers do this when they ask her, hey, do you think that you're overreacting?
I don't ever feel like I overreact.
It's like if I were to say that I never ever yell on my videos, which I do sometimes. I have to lower the volume sometimes when I do that. Or that I never cuss when I do. Yeah, maybe you're right, Rayne. Chidi is extremely attached to his sister, but there is reasons why he's attached to his sister. Did you forget that he's blind?
You just want me to do everything.
Look at the net, look at the net. You wanna go down?
She continues to talk over him and just saying dumb things. Like, I think she was like kind of describing what was happening at the beach. And then she starts saying, oh, can you see that? Can you see that? Do you see that? This is conspiracy Karen that I think Rayne does this on purpose every single time she gets a chance. She rubs it in his face that he cannot see.
No. I see you're sucking your sister's tits. Are you sharing the milk or what?
I wanted to fight her so bad when she said that. It is so insulting that you would imply that Chidi is doing something like that. I get what you're trying to do. You're trying to say that he can't make decisions for himself, that he sees her as his mom. And it's just disrespectful to even say things like that to a man that has been trying his hardest to be independent, that has been trying his hardest to welcome you into his family.
Just says anything that comes to her head.
And she's shared with me in the past that her relationships have not worked out, that she's been through so many negative and toxic relationships. But it really makes you wonder if that's just her. Relationships work two ways. And seeing the reactions that Rayne has to small conversations, to small little topics that, you know, could be resolved, does say a lot about her past relationships. It does make you wonder if this is how she has acted her entire life.
If you want people to love you, if you want people to respect you, you should learn how to respect others.
She loses her goddamn mind. If we thought that she was already upset when she mentioned the titties, no, she's pissed right now.
And now you want to scratch your teeth at me and saying the problem is me? You know what? The problem is you.
5 years that she chose to be single, that was her decision. That was her putting herself first because she didn't want to fall into a toxic relationship again. But she's creating the toxic relationship right now. She then starts blaming him, you know.
The problem is the human freaking race. All you try to do is hurt others, and you want to call that love?
It is so insane to me that every single episode that you're on, you choose to believe that other people are the problem and not you. All of us that watch 90 Day Fiancé are telling you that you are wrong, that you are crazy, that you don't know how to control your emotions, that you can't even allow Chidi to speak, that you literally are pulling things out of your ass, and you still think that Chidi is the problem?
So you better learn to chill because you're messing with the wrong freaking ass person.
And I say this in the nicest way possible. You should really consider seeing a therapist so they can help you process all that trauma that you have from your childhood and from all those toxic past relationships that you say you had.
I want you to start looking inwards.
I don't want to look inwards.
Do you hear how horrible it sounds? That you don't even want to evaluate yourself and actually look at the actions that you're making right now. It sounds horrible, Rayne.
I'm surprised that he's trying to blame me about my past relationships not working out.
While I do think that maybe, you know, Chidi bringing up her past relationships might have been a low blow, I think Rayne deserves it. Fuck this bitch. She deserves it. Why would you think that you can go around and say all those mean things to his sister, you know, come over here and treat him like total garbage, don't allow him to speak, you are yelling at him, and then you expect for people to have some respect for you? Then there's this moment where Rayne is like, why do you want me? Why are you talking to me?
What do you want with me? If I'm such an issue, what do you want? Are you doing it for a visa?
The moment she says that, you can tell that Chidi got pissed. because he had this like facial expression where he was just like, I cannot believe that you would think that I want the visa. So if the visa was such a big deal, I think Chidi would have forgave you after the stunt you pulled on his sister.
Before I met you, I've been to school, I've been to university. I was resisting, I was surviving.
And it's actually so funny that there is a lot of Americans on this show that think that the visa is such a grand, beautiful thing that foreigners can't let go of.
If I really want the visa, I would have submitted, which includes having sex with Rayne. But I would not sell myself for a visa.
Chidi also mentions that he feels like she's bringing up the visa because she doesn't want to look into the real issues in the relationship. And I couldn't agree with him anymore.
I just want an earnest and honest discussion with you.
Okay, you're still talking.
And he's still talking because you're not allowing him to speak. Every single time he says something, you interrupt him, just like you did right now. And then to make matters even worse, she mimics him.
You're shit. You don't listen. You don't. I'm listening.
How do you think this man is going to talk to you when you are making fun of him? You are making him feel like he's not enough. You are making him feel like he's a child.
If I'm a little too much for Chidi, I will withdraw myself out of your life.
Then leave. Do it. He's already telling you that this person you are is too much. You need to change, Rayne. And with that, Chidi tells Rayne that their relationship is over and there's no way that they're gonna get back together.
I wish you the best, and I will always wish the best for you.
Whatever helps you feel like a man.
At least that's what I would say. At least that's how I took it. You know, this relationship is done. We are not going back. This woman is way too toxic, and we don't want her around us. I don't know if we're gonna see them on our screens again, but it does turn out that we're getting a new couple on the next episode.
She quit her job and she wants kids right away.
Oh, God.
I already think it's too much, but you know, it seems like maybe Vanja and Bozo are not gonna make it. I would love to hear you guys' thoughts in regards to this episode. Let me know what you guys think about Veah and Sunny getting back together. How do we feel about her reasonings as to why she brought Rory with him to this trip? Let me know how you guys feel about Rayne. I know that many of you already don't like her, so I would love to hear what your thoughts are. I don't know if I'll go ahead and make a video for Tiger Lily and Adnan, just because I find them a little boring. And I just feel like it's the same thing. And I'm kind of annoyed of listening to Tiger Lily talk about how possessive Adnan is, but then she loves it. I don't know. It's just weird. But that's going to be it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for tuning in. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I know you guys are coming back to my videos, but you guys are not subscribing, so I would really appreciate if you go ahead and subscribe. You can always like my videos if you enjoyed it, and I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.